Hello there, this is Hugh Coakley from the Guildford Dragon News. We have with us today local author Dr. David Stokes, environmental activist and chair of the Holy Trinity Amenity Group. Thank you for joining us today, David. Thank you very, very much. David, could you remind us why you put the petition in to Surrey County Council for a car-free day, and were you surprised to see it rejected by Surrey County Council?
Good morning. Well, the original aims of the car-free day was to really have a period of time when we would demonstrate what Guildford Town Centre could be like, free of traffic. So we'd be demonstrating what it would be like to walk and cycle into the town, free of cars, safer place to be, free of pollution and emissions. And that would, it was hoped, would encourage people to use alternative, more healthy ways of transport to get into the town in the future. And yeah, because of that, I mean, obviously, I was very disappointed when the petition really didn't have a proper hearing, because it was launched pre-COVID and it got caught up with the lockdown of the pandemic. So it's never really been properly considered. But really my frustration is that I think in not acting further on it, the County Council have missed a major opportunity, because if you think about the aims of the petition that I've just stated, you know, to encourage people to cycle and walk more into the town, the lockdown effectively did that for a while. You know, it's been a very difficult time for many of us, but there have been some advantages, one of which has been people have been walking and cycling more. And there has been what this car-free day hoped to achieve, which was a modal shift in the way we think about transport. And a key reason why people have been cycling and walking more is that there's been less traffic, and therefore people feel safer to ride around the town on bikes and to walk into town, and indeed around the countryside as well. So I think there has been, you know, there's a real opportunity here now to capitalise on that and to stimulate more walking and cycling.
If not a car-free day, David, what other ideas might you be putting forward to encourage people to get out of their cars, to walk, to cycle, to go on public transport?
Well, I think there's three key issues that could be achieved. The first one really is that we could create some new cycle lanes and pedestrian ways around Guildford quite quickly now. You know, the government launched a scheme whereby you could get money to create new cycle lanes. And the council have already shown that they can act swiftly if they need to. So when the high street was being reopened, they quickly got together and decided they would actually close the high street for longer periods. So instead of being shut between 11 and 4, it's now shut between 10 and 6. And they did that very quickly, which is great. We've got a pedestrianisation which lasts for the shopping day. They also closed some of the parking bays down the bottom of the high street and in the upper high street to facilitate wider pavements effectively. So now, I mean, why not take that measure further and create new cycle lanes? There are ways of doing that quite rapidly. It can be done quickly in the current climate of events. We could create a cycle lane, for example, around the gyratory, so people would feel safer going around that. There's been a long planned one-way system plan for Walnut Tree Close, which would enable cycling as well. So that could be activated quite quickly. So I think, you know, encouraging cycling and making it easier for people to walk in and out of town could be activated quite quickly.
You mentioned the 20-mile-an-hour limit.
Yeah, well, that's the second thing I would really like to support, because there's a government study recently been done on 12 towns and cities that have had 20-mile-an-hour limits within their town centres. And it showed that one of the key effects was that people did cycle and walk more in a 20-mile-an-hour zone, principally because they felt safer. And I'm sure that such a scheme in Guildford would help people, again, to get back on their bikes. In their statement about the car-free petition, the county council did say they would support promotion and in conjunction with schools to encourage parents to walk or get to school by cycling. Now, you know, parents at the moment don't do that because they don't feel they're safe to send their kids off to school on a bike. Again, a 20-mile-an-hour zones in the town centres, in and around the schools, maybe stopping any parking in the streets where the schools are so that cars can't come into those streets would really encourage more children to get to school, not by car. That would be another effect. And the third thing I really would like to look forward to in the longer term is, of course, a much wider zone in the centre of town, which is pedestrian and for pedestrians and cycles only.
David, last question. Are people ready for radical change, to leave their cars, to walk, to cycle, to go by public transport? You see, after this COVID, well, it's not, we're still in the COVID pandemic, but you can see there's been a rapid increase in car traffic. Are people ready for a change?
I think they are. I think you know, people's eyes were opened up during lockdown to different ways of doing things. You know, we've all been walking into country areas we'd never been to before or haven't been regularly. I certainly have been doing a lot more cycling. I know lots of my neighbours who have been doing a lot more cycling. There's now the possibility with electric bikes. I mean, Guildford's a hilly town. It's not easy to cycle. I live on top of a hill and I have to walk back up pushing my bike. But with an e-bike, which I'm going to get very soon, I'll be able to get up to my house using an electric bike. The modern e-bike, and I've seen some, are very much lighter and easier to use and are a real alternative to, you know, getting in your car and driving into town.
Dr. David Stokes, thank you very, very much for talking to the Guildford Dragon News.
Thank you.